Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Wire Sports Media. This is your Cool Down Thursday edition, and this is your host, Live Wire himself. All right, so remember, a few months ago, Kelsey Mitchell dropped a sneak peek video of them, Caitlin Clark, Leo Boston, DeWanna Bonner. They was outside on the basketball court, right? And we kept wondering what this was about. Was it for a commercial? Was it some sort of video? Well, guys, we have finally found the answer to your question. Guess what? It was an exclusive cover for Sports Illustrated that just hit today. Now, I had just returned back from taking my daughter to school, and usually at this time I will search what's going on, and I already had a video in place for this, but I will do it this afternoon. But this one just dropped, so I want to give y'all the exclusive look on this. I want to be the one to hit this in the head and put it right there. So yes, the Indiana Fever has dropped an exclusive article with Sports Illustrated, and it's by Emma Bellicelli, if I'm pronouncing that right. And it says, Fever Dreams. There's much more to the W's most watched team than the Caitlin Clark show. Now, we all know that the Indiana Fever had just revamped their whole roster. Some people was in their feelings about certain players, but nevertheless, them players was never going to get us any closer to winning a WNBA title. Let's just be honest with it. As much as we like certain players on the team, it was not going to cut it. We just witnessed Grace Berger getting cut away from the Minnesota Lynx. Now, some people say, well, hey, Grace Berger could have stayed with the Fever and been Caitlin Clark backup. She didn't have a lot of experience either. She came in with Aaliyah Boston. She was drafted around when Aaliyah Boston was there. So she was in her third year. But she didn't really get enough significant playing time. Nevertheless, fast forward to now. The Indiana Fever brought back Kelly Krescars, went on to bring in Amber Cox, then went on to bring in Stephanie White after giving Christy Size a farewell package. Then the first order of business was what? Re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. Yes, they did. After that, they definitely went on. They definitely went on to bring in DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham by trade, Jaylen Brown. Which they all cut, and then they had a good draft. But I want to share some of the snippets from the article that talked about this because it's important how. Now, Emma did an excellent job in this article. I hate to say it. She did an excellent job because she detailed what they went through this to get to this point and what they was going through last year. Also to build to what they are now. Make no mistake about it. Again, make no mistake about it. The Indiana Fever are the greatest show on hardwood to this season. Expectations like none. You got some people that's not a fan of Indiana Fever say, hey, Caitlin Clark has no excuse now. She got a team around her. It's championship or bust. But to the Indiana Fever, they don't see it that way. But they know in the back of their mind what their goal is. And their goal is to win it all. You know, Caitlin Clark, odds on favorite to win MVP. Sophie Cunningham or Lexi Hall, they could be defensive player, sixth person off the floor. Heck, Natasha Howell could be defensive player. Heck, Kelsey Mitchell could be most improved player. There's so many accolades that this team could niche. This team might have 5 All-Stars on this team on in the All-Star. And Leah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, DeWanna Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hall. Who knows? This team could have a record setting of All-Stars on this team. But nevertheless, here we are because all eyes is on the Indiana Fever. We already witnessing what the Indiana Pacers are doing over there in the NBA. Now it's the females' turn for the Indiana Fever. We definitely gonna get a front row seat of it because the season kicks off on Friday. Saturday, I will be doing the live stream to the first game, the Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever. But let me get into these snippets of articles right here and lay it out for y'all because you know what? You know what it is. I do what I do. So, 3 years ago, Kelsey Mitchell felt like the Fever played every game on the road. Their schedule had plenty of games at home, but that concept did not mean very much to them in 2022. The franchise was 5 seasons into the playoff drought and stretch in which it had never so much as flirted with a winning record. Arena renovations meant the Fever spent the summer bouncing across different venues. They played games in the usual downtown home of Gainbridge Fieldhouse on a state fairground and Buckle Huckle Fieldhouse. No matter where they played in any of us, the seats was almost empty. Wow. Then the article went on to say, before I even get into this part right here, I want to take a moment to illustrate that because Kelsey Mitchell been with this team for 7 years. So she's seen the lows of this team. But by them making her a priority to bring her back is showing that, hey, now she can get to see the highs of the team. She had her most successful output last year out of all the seasons she played. Then making it to the playoffs. And then coming back to build on her back with her backcourt mate C Square, better known as Caitlin Clark Kent, better known as Caitlin Clark. So now let's dive in to Miss Caitlin Elizabeth Clark. Had a coin Skip Bayless on that one because he always say he do Tom Brady. He was like Thomas Everett Brady James. So Caitlin Clark top priority was getting stronger. We seen Caitlin Clark getting knocked around last year. We seen her getting fouled last year. We seen her get her eyes gouged last year. We seen her in every facet of not non-basketball terminology than anything. But just like the great ones, they always find a way to reinvent themselves in the off season to be more of a force than anything. We've seen it with Michael Jordan. We've seen it with Kobe Bryant. We've seen it with LeBron James. We've seen it with Steph Curry. We have seen it time and time again. Caitlin Clark is bringing that work ethic into the W. Caitlin Clark's top priority was getting stronger. She hit the weight room 4 times a week. The change was pronounced enough that when giving her uniform for a photo shoot with Sports Illustrated, Clark asked if it was a smaller jersey than what she wore last year. Same size, replied the equipment manager. You're filling it out more. And she worked she worked to complement that strength with better finishing ability, greater versatility, working off the ball, and more, developing a mid-range game, including the addition of a floater. Let me go back to this top part for a minute. She worked on complement that strength with better finishing ability, greater versatility, working off the ball. I cannot stress that part again to y'all because a lot of people keep saying that, hey, Caitlin Clark don't need to be off ball. But guess what? She's been working to be off ball and more, developing a mid-range game, including addition as of a floater. White was very intentional about how I can develop Clark saying. I think it's just refreshing as and gives you a newer sense of confidence more than anything. Just about just about everything around the franchise got a upgrade this offseason. And Caitlin Clark knew that had to start with her included. Now, so if Caitlin Clark if Caitlin Clark is willing to change her game and improve her game in many facets, then we shouldn't even have to worry about questioning it. Because if she's willing to play off ball some, even though a lot of us think that she shouldn't, but she knows she has more confidence in herself than we feel like she does, then hey, who are we to question that? It should never been questioned in the first place. But again, but she knew this. Caitlin Clark knew this. She knew that she had to do this. She knew she had to improve her game. She knew she had to add more to her bag. She knew she had to be more unpredictable. People was already scouting her last year. Stephanie White did one of the best jobs against her than any coach in the W last year. Because Stephanie White studied Caitlin Clark from afar until she got in the league. Now she's her coach, and she's going to turn her weakness into her one of her greatest strengths. That's what a genius of a coach does. Take what you didn't do well and make it your best asset. We seen when Doug Collins was coaching the Bulls, Michael Jordan was out here scoring 50, 40, 60 points a game, but he didn't have the team around him. Guess what? Phil Jackson came in with Tex Winters, implemented the triangle offense. Nobody thought the triangle offense would have worked because they all thought Jordan was just this dominant scorer. He was a selfish player. He couldn't make his teammates better. Guess what? In 91, they won their first NBA title. Went on the three-peat, took a year and a half off, came back and three-peat again. So I said this to say anything. Caitlin Clark, I'm not gonna never doubt her game. I think she could always improve, and she knows she can improve. She can improve. So I think this year, year two, when the ball really gets rolling, outside of them 3 preseason games, guess what it is going to be about? We know what it is. Now, let me run back into this a few more articles real quick. So, now this part was talking about why Kelsey Mitchell came back. Kelsey Mitchell came back because she wanted to continue to build on the chemistry that her and Clark had established in the backcourt last year. With even more freedom and movement, first and foremost, getting really creative, White said, allowing them to play off each other. putting them in positions to accentuate their strength. Clark assisted in 81 of Kelsey Mitchell's buckets last year, more than any one guard had feed another in the NBA, WNBA. And the front office had clear intermediate plans to build on build on the defense around them and get them depth they barely needed. They badly needed. Mitchell was part of Kelly Korskov's last draft when she was there before she left to join the Indiana Pacers. She knew how difficult the years in between had been for that player. It was personal. Korskov said, I just wanted her to know that I recognized that, and she wanted Kelsey Mitchell to know that she wasn't taking any, she wasn't talking about revamping in a few years. She was talking about the now. I'm not going to waste time, Korskov said, with her particular because this player who's in her prime. So when you become intentional in what you're doing for your life, for your job, for your career, for your retirement, for anything in sports, you got to make sure that your is the purpose. Kelly Korskov intent for Kelsey Mitchell was to make sure Kelsey Mitchell know that she was appreciated for her staying with this franchise for all the years that she did and bring in drafting two number one picks, Leo Boston and Caitlin Clark. And seeing that the chemistry between Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell blossomed the way they did, you only had to capitalize it on it even more. And that brings me to the last part of this. That means adding six-time All-Star DeWanna Bonner, who was with White in Connecticut, widely represented with her warm presence in the locker room and how she uses her length and her versatility on the floor. She got a big heart, but she will also rip your heart out. Stephanie White said, "It's it's meant bringing the former Defensive Player of the Year, Natasha Howard, originally drafted by the Fever in 2014, who has won 3 championships elsewhere and is vocal about wanting to add a fourth. It's meant bolstering the bench with Sophie Cunningham, Breonna Turner, Sydney Colston, with the addition when each of the 5 additions brought on their own strength, but also a common experience. All have been to the WNBA finals. This is going to be a different experience, Kelly Korskov said. Told prospective acquisitions, all eyes are on this franchise. All eyes are on everywhere. And all eyes on every movement that we do. And that's why they went out of their way to promote this team, to show everybody that, hey, the spotlight is on us. We welcome the challenge, but guess what? We we might be the challengers, but we going to be challenging you, and that's what it is about. So the Indiana Fever has set out to do what they have set out to do, and they making it known. This article for Sports Illustrator just showed you how this team has ascended, even though they haven't accomplished anything yet, but they already have ascended past any other team in the W. They're the most talked about, the most popularized, the most watched team that's going to be in this WNBA this season. You saw it in the off season. Now the momentum is about to come into the regular season. Make no mistake about it. The Indiana Fever goes on to win the WNBA title. They'll probably be the first team since the Houston Comets to win 3 in a row or 4 in a row. Now, maybe not, but that's how I feel. Because guess what? When you have a front office the way they have, and we knowing that a lot of free agents that's going to be available next year, they can resign some back and they could go out and pick some more. Because guess what? Teams gonna want to play for them, especially if they lock down this first championship this year. Oh, if they not lock down this championship this year, guess what? All I'm just trying to tell you, nothing can stop them because they're going all the way up. So let me know about the Sports Illustrator. I will put the whole link in the description box so you can always go in there and get it and read it and give me your thoughts. Hey, the fever dream, but it's more like the fever American dream. And with that, this is Livewire Sports Media, your Cool Down Thursday edition. And if you don't know, now you know.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing. Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.